Coming to you live from downtown Windsor, this is a St. Clair College MediaPlex production.
Good evening, I'm Riley Livingston.
And I'm Anna Safta, and you're watching the MediaPlex Insider.
Windsor Fire and Rescue responded to a house fire yesterday. Upon arrival, firefighters were dealing with heavy smoke and heavy fire conditions. Crews went defensive and Truck 1 was performing aerial operations. Damage is estimated at $400,000.
Constable Lauren Briscoe from Crime Stoppers gives us our weekly crime update.
The Windsor Police Service Major Crimes Unit continues to investigate a shooting from last spring. On May 3rd at 10:30 p.m., officers responded to a report that a person had been shot in the 1700 block of Tecumseh Road West. The victim was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The suspect is described as a black male between 18 and 30 years old. He wore black clothing and a surgical mask at the time. He may have fled the scene in a 2011 to 2014 model white Dodge Charger. A photograph of the suspect can be located on our website, catchcrooks.com. If you have any information and wish to remain anonymous, contact Crime Stoppers at 519-258-8477 or submit a tip online at catchcrooks.com. I am Police Coordinator Lauren Briscoe.
Let's head over to where our weather specialist, Zachary Balog, is standing by with an early look at our weather. Zach?
Well, I didn't know I needed a shower this evening, but nonetheless, here we are. Currently, it is 5 degrees with a little bit of drizzle here and there. So, will we ever brighten up? I'll tell you in your 3-day forecast coming up a little later on in the show. Back to you.
Here's Jesse LaRouche with this week's City Hall update.
As this week there was no meeting, let's take a look into next week. With the proposition in City Hall, the City of Windsor is looking to add a fee to the application process of opening an outdoor temporary patio. For many restaurants, bars, and other licensed properties, this was a key during the pandemic to keep a steady flow of business incoming. The City of Windsor says there were only 10 applications last year for outdoor patios, with a lot of companies doing so without applying, possibly due to not knowing the post-COVID regulations. Along with the added fee, there will be rules implemented such as screening, occupancy, and parking regulations. For the MediaPlex, I'm Jesse LaRouche.
Dale Kabukian asks students if they know the meaning of the 2023 Merriam-Webster Word of the Year. Let's take a look.
The Merriam-Webster Dictionary named its Word of the Year, and it's no other than authentic. According to the dictionary, the word authentic means real, actual, not false or imitation. The website says it's became the word of the year following Taylor Swift's statement about seeking people's authentic voice and authentic self, the rise of artificial intelligence, authenticity as what celebrities aspire to be, and other correlating world events. The other runner-ups for the dictionary's 2023 data includes X and Riz. Now, let's ask some people if they know these following words.
Do you know what authentic means?
I think so, yeah, just to be yourself and project it.
Do you know what Riz means?
Riz, I think it means, if the term for St. Clair, it would probably mean with, I don't remember that one.
I'm pretty sure a type of slang, going around, it's like a way of attraction or like something along those lines.
Why do you think the letter X is one of the runner-up?
That's an odd one. I'm not actually sure.
For the MediaPlex, I am Dale Kabukin.
Exams and project deadlines are next week, and never mind Christmas shopping. Here's Elliot St. Aubin with more.
It's December, and that means it's time for exams. But how are the students of St. Clair College dealing with the stress of it all? Some students space out their time and make sure to hang out with friends to blow off steam.
I'm just biding my time, doing some activities, trying to like space out like when I'm studying and when I'm like spending time with my friends, so I have like a good balance of the two elements of my life right now. It's good.
Other students wake up early to go on a peaceful walk.
Every 7 a.m. and just have a half an hour walk. Then I just came up from my home and just cook a little bit. And just from 9 o'clock, I just got to go for my classes.
And some aren't dealing with it as well as others.
I'm not dealing with it. I'm putting it all the back of my mind.
HSE.com, a website about health and mental health, recommends students keep a routine, limit caffeine, and ask for support when needed in order to reduce stress when exam season comes around. For the MediaPlex, I'm Elliot St. Aubin.
Joelle Broussard speaks with Tom Lucier, who is the owner of Fog Lounge.
Welcome to 3 Minutes With, where today we'll be spending our time with local bar and music venue owner Tom Lucier. Thank you so much for being with us, Tom.
Oh, it's great to be here.
So Tom owns the venue Fog Lounge in downtown Windsor. What would you say is the goal or concept of your venue?
It changes all the time. Survival downtown as a business, first and foremost now, but as a community member, it is absolutely to be resourceful, to offer something to the public, and obviously creative people, musicians, artists, giving them a clearinghouse for their creativity. And poets, everybody, writers, it doesn't matter. If you have something to express, even comedy, we try to be a place that you can express yourself safely and actually get good feedback and grow. So a community builder and a clearinghouse for people's creativity.
Awesome. What has been the best part for you about owning this venue?
Socially, it is really rewarding. The people that I've met are the most interesting people I could ever hope for. If I could find this community, if you could bottle this in every city, in every town, it would be extremely valuable, because it's this mind meld of really smart people in all these different categories of creative thinking, and meeting those people has made me a better person and probably a better community member. It's the people, obviously. I mean, the creativity and the music and the stuff I've been exposed to is good, but it's definitely the human beings that come out.
So briefly, could you tell us how you came to own Fog Lounge and create this beloved venue for Windsorites?
Yes, I had a magazine when I was 20 years old, and I came out of this program. It was called Windsor Vox Magazine, and I was realizing, oh, wait a minute, if I want to run my own magazine, I'm just selling ads. That's what this is. I'm not getting to be the writer and the photographer I want to be. And very quickly, one of my advertisers, Lift Lounge, which is now Fog, we would hang out there, and they said, hey, we're closing. You should talk to our landlord about taking it over. I don't even know why they asked me and my friend Frank. And Frank and I became business partners, and we opened like the following January, which was January 2nd, 2004. And I was just a kid, 23 years old, and I did not know anything about serving drinks or working in a restaurant. That was it. It was about taking the next step from being someone who was reporting about creativity and the cultural community to like playing a role in it.
And do you have any last things you'd like to say about yourself, Fog, or any upcoming events at the venue?
Anyone who makes something that they want to share or sell, you are the one who stands to benefit quite a bit from those sales, from that expression. Come to us. Ask for a show. Ask how that works. Like what kind of process happens for you to have a show. Because we want more community members, because you influence us, you influence the other people that are there. And it's just a really nice melange. It just continues to grow if you participate. And so my message is always participate. Show up. Go to things, particularly if you are in a field that you're going into is about exploring and finding stories. That place is so chock full of stories. Come and participate. This is for anyone that sees this. I don't care if you're in media at all. It's just come and participate. These people are pouring their guts out almost every day, and it's very good, and you should come and experience it.
For the MediaPlex, I'm Joelle Broussard.
The Spitfires are making a comeback. Cam Segan tells us more.
Dare I say the Windsor Spitfires are back in flight? Since the dismissal of head coach Jared Smith and the exodus of assistant coaches that followed, the Spits are 3-2. More importantly, their goaltenders aren't getting burned from the goal light being lit up so often behind them. Joey Costanzo and Ian Micheloni have only allowed 15 goals in those 5 games, which is a far cry from their earlier output. It's still a very small sample size, but the defense under Casey Torres, and I guess the watchful eye of Bill Bowler, has improved so much, you almost wonder if it's the same guys back there patrolling the blue line. Credit also must go to the forwards, who seem committed to playing responsibly in their own end. It's not always easy for players like Oliver Peer, who are in their final junior season, to buy into a system that may sacrifice some offense for defensive play. But he has bought into that system. They all have, really. And for Peer, his new defensive mindset has actually benefited him in the box score, allowing him to pounce on counter-attacking opportunities with his elite skating ability. On Friday, the Spits shut out a good Guelph Storm team. It was their most complete effort of the season. While their playoffs are still a long shot, don't let them hear you say that, because they believe they have what it takes to get hot and take flight into the playoffs by the end of the season.
Windsor's bright lights are sparkling this year. Saloni Chauhan reports.
3, 2, 1.
Windsor is ready to brighten up its holidays with the return of a festive tradition. Bright Lights Windsor is back, transforming Jackson Park into a winter wonderland from December 1 to January 7 next year. Jackson Park will sparkle nightly from 5:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. Admission is free. You can bring your family and friends for a magical experience. The official tree lighting and opening ceremonies were on December 1st at Jackson Park. All who have dogs can bring their dogs as well, because dogs are allowed at Bright Lights Windsor. Students of St. Clair College are also excited for Bright Lights Windsor.
Going next weekend, once done with classes and there's no more assignments to worry about, my girlfriend and I are going to go down, take some photos.
People far from Windsor, they come to see the Jackson Park, and people try to click pictures and create videos of Jackson Park, so I'm pretty much excited to visit Jackson Park.
Windsor, get ready to make unforgettable memories at Bright Lights Windsor 2023. For MediaPlex, I'm Saloni Chauhan.
Now let's head back over to Zachary standing by with our 3-day forecast. Zach?
Well, we got some good news and bad news. The bad news is we got a little bit of drizzle-drazzle out here, but the good news is we're going to be seeing some sunshine, and I'll tell you when that comes up in your 3-day forecast. Wednesday, mainly cloudy at a high of 4. Thursday, a chance of flurries and rain showers with a high of 7. And Friday, a high of 10 with some sunshine. Starting off the weekend, we have some double digits and a little bit of wetness. Heat wave. I'm Zachary Ballog. Back to you.
And now for our photo of the week. This photo was taken by Raman Kumar Pandey and is titled Wintry Weather. We just love showing off our work, and a big thanks to Dan Janice, our award-winning instructor.
If you're looking for all things entertainment, well, Zach and Riley have you covered. Here's ZNR Entertainment.
Hi, I'm Zach.
And I'm Riley.
And we'd like to welcome you to our segment, ZNR Entertainment,
where we'll be talking all the latest in TV, movies, music, celebrities, and more.
So stick around to see what's in store for this week. Good evening. I'm here with Idris Ascour, and he is a creative filmmaker and editor and assistant director. Thank you so much for being here this evening.
Thank you for having me, Zach.
So I got to ask, how did you get into this field?
Well, it all started with the first shot of The Godfather when I was 8 years old. The first scene of I Believe in America made me to actually believe that I can be a filmmaker. It started when I did my degree in Cyprus, and I did the bachelor's. As soon as I came back home in Morocco, I started looking for a job in the field, and I started as a PA, which is a production assistant.
So what was that like, to be a production assistant?
I was thrown in a big field where I did not know what I was doing, honestly, because the great deal of stuff that we go through school and universities are unlike the ones that happen on set or in the industry. So I was a fresh person with fresh ideas, but then I had to learn everything, know everyone's department, know everyone's job on set.
Wow. So you Obviously, like I said before, you're an editor. What is that process like to edit a film?
To edit a film is to be part of the story, is to take all of the shots and try to make a sense out of them. To edit a film is to be careful of what you're presenting to the audience, whether it's a flow, whether it's emotion, whether it's an eye trace in the image. So to be an editor is to be a very careful person around your stills.
So be honest, is it the most wonderful part about being part of a film to edit?
It is, especially when you know that you could manipulate the film however you want. You can even film something intended to be romantic, but then in the editing room, it could become dramatic. It could be scary. So it is fun to play with those things.
What advice do you have for students who are going into this field or who want to?
Watch more films. That's as simple as it is. Watch more films, because at the end of the day, it's all about the film language, and acquiring any language takes a great deal of practicing. So practice and watch more films as much as you can.
Well, thank you. My thanks to Idris Esgor for joining me on this edition of ZNR Entertainment. I'm Zach, and I put the Z in ZNR Entertainment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Up now is another installment of Talking Pictures. Here's Dylan and Blake.
Mr. Ford, you made a picture called Three Bad Men, which was a large-scale Western, and you had a quite elaborate land rush in it. How did you shoot that?
With a camera.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Talking Pictures. Today, we got two excellent talking pictures for you guys here today. We got The French Connection by Billy Friedkin, and we got George A. Romero's Day of the Dead.
Two very excellent and quite ironic salutes where our character is giving a wave goodbye to their little foil. And in the case of Sherman Howard's character, Bub, a zombie actually, I'm quite glad he ended up saluting that soldier, because it would be the last he gets.
And as one soldier to another, they should understand which side of the war they're on. And speaking of war, Gene Hackman as Popeye Doyle, he reigns a war on Fernando Reyes.
Relentless.
Yes, a relentless war on Fernando Reyes, Alain Chaulnier, with his partner Buddy Russo, played by Roy Schneider. This film is instantly recognizable, instantly iconic by the scene where he drives on the wrong side of the road to chase this freeway, this train that's holding all the information that he needs. And by the end, he doesn't even get what he wants. And that's what drives his motivation for the end of the film. And he needs to catch Alain Chaulnier in the act. And that's why when you see him wave, it's that bit more satisfying, because you know exactly the motivation he's feeling and the exact I got you moment when Alain sees the blockade presented in front of him. He can't just run away now.
Now compare that to Day of the Dead. We see earlier an attempt at a salute when this helpless zombie is chained up, or, well, so to speak. He's imprisoned, but he tries to offer his hand at this soldier, and this soldier is consumed with prejudice, and that prejudice ends up becoming his downfall at the end, where he watches that salute again, only from a perspective that's a lot less comforting. Which in The French Connection, that same dynamic, only this time it's Alain who salutes Popeye first, and Popeye who returns the favor.
Just enforcing the dynamic between these two characters who just think they're smarter than each other, and you'll never know until the end who wins.
A never-ending game of chess. Never ending.
So those were two excellent talking pictures we compared. One from the 70s, one from the 80s. I've been Dylan Moskowski.
I'm Blake Moskowski. Keep it tuned. We got him coming.
Well, if you have lived around here long enough, then you have probably been to Bronner's. Zach Balog takes a look at the history behind it.
Bronner's was conceived in 1954 by Wally and Irene Bronner and built by the Bronner's Brother Construction. According to Frankenmuth.com, this store was built to accommodate the Bronner's growing business in crafting and selling awe-inspiring Christmas decorations. Over the years, this store has had several expansions covering 27 acres of land, making it the largest Christmas store in the world. Also located on the property is a statue of Santa Claus to greet guests and motorists who drive by. The more you know. For MediaPlex News, I'm Zachary Ballog.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer walking home from our house Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as Santa, but as for me and Grandpa, we believe.
Disney is for everyone, and as Mariana Yanekovic reports, even for those who are visually impaired.
Some say childhood is the best time in our lives. No worries, no problems, no fears. Just us and our friends, both real and imaginary, rolling around in a world of fantasy, flying high in the sky, diving deep into the ocean, climbing mountains in our minds. But for some people, their imagination is their reality.
Cartoons were really inaccessible to me as a kid because they were so visual. I couldn't identify with them at all because there was an awful lot happening in the cartoons that was not expressed through dialogue.
Rebecca Blevoigt was born blind. She was 5 when she first realized that not being able to see wasn't something everyone dealt with.
We had just had a visit from the principal of the School for the Blind that I would be attending, and I think it was that visit that made me start to think, I wonder, and I started to realize that I couldn't see out of my eyes.
Rebecca is one of the owners of Tactile Vision Graphics in Windsor, a business that prints materials in Braille. She and her husband Emmanuel have signed a 3-year licensing agreement with Disney to produce at least 15 creative coloring books with Disney characters. Disney books in Braille had never been produced in Disney's 90-year history. Emmanuel came up with the idea.
We had just come back to Canada and he started saying, you know, our coloring books would be great for if we had Disney characters. And my immediate reaction was, well, oh gosh, you know, imagine the red tape you have to go through to get that.
Blind and visually impaired will finally be able to see Disney classics like Mickey Mouse, Bambi, 101 Dalmatian, Goofy, and many more. The process of producing books consists of taking the Disney art and adapting it in a tactile format that will make sense to blind people reading it. Rebecca believes books with Disney characters will open a window to a completely new world.
If I knew that there were Braille coloring books, if the first Braille coloring books that I ever got were Disney characters, that would be very cool. I think as a kid I would have found that extremely neat, you know, to be able to bring that and show the other children and be able to color.
According to the Canadian National Institute for the Blind, there are 500,000 Canadians with significant visual impairment. Almost 200,000 of them reside in Ontario.
The number of requests we've gotten to let them know when the books are available from adults are even more than the number of kids. So it's because we didn't grow up with this stuff either. So yeah, it's a huge lot of people that are going to be impacted by this.
Emmanuel designs graphics in Braille for the purpose of Braille readers. One of his favorite pieces of art that he created is the periodic table of elements. Although making coloring books with Disney characters fulfills him and makes him happy, Emmanuel says it's a long process since it needs to be done.
The little girl was right in front of me and she was just like she had never touched a coloring book with her fingers. What do you think it is? It's a house. Yeah, you're right, that's a house. How do you know it's a house? There's windows. Yeah, you're right. It was the first time she was actually touching her own idea of a house.
Seeing how blue the sky looks on a bright sunny day, the simplicity of nature's beauty, or the vibrant color of a freshly bloomed flower, so many of us take sight for granted. In their modest office, their second home, Rebecca and Emmanuel don't work alone. They have their biggest supporter always by their side, Carrie, Rebecca's seeing-eye dog and loving companion. Carrie doesn't know what preconception is, but Rebecca's father says it's something Rebecca faced with since she was a child.
The biggest challenge in raising Rebecca, I think it was more related to how other people dealt with her. Everybody wanted to help her, and because of her independence, she wanted to do it herself. So it was very difficult in some ways to tell people, let her do it.
I mean, there are things that are much easier to do when you can see. Just about everything's easier to do when you can see. But I think a larger obstacle than blindness is probably the societal perceptions of what blind people are capable of. That continues to be a battle that I have to fight with just about everyone I meet. There's all sorts of societal impressions that are made before I even say a word.
It's really funny because when Rebecca was a young girl, and even into her teenage years, I thought that this girl's gonna make her mark because she was so inventive, and of course she's met Emmanuel, who is a very creative young man, and between the two of them, they've come up with this phenomenal idea, and they'll do well.
Rebecca decided to embrace her destiny from the moment she became aware of it. Today, she is brave, confident, happy, and determined to bring Disney characters in lives of blind and visually impaired, especially the young ones, and take them on a journey in which they have never been before.
The most important thing, after everything and before everything, is to be true to yourself. Whatever society throws at you, whatever other expectations people have of you, listen to your inner voice and do what's in your heart.
Thanks for tuning in.
This is our last live show of this year.
Stay tuned next week for our Christmas and holiday special.
I'm Anna Safta.
And I'm Riley Livingston.
And you've been watching
the MediaPlex Insider.
This has been a St. Clair College MediaPlex production.
It's always been my passion to be part of a news team. I love the adrenaline rush of being there when news is breaking. I wanted to learn how to get the story and know how to present it. On radio, in print, on television, or the web. I wanted to learn from the best, and I did at St. Clair College.